Good afternoon, good evening, guten tag. How are you, everybody? It's WT Lighheart here at the Out of Control Center in the Prosperity and Health Alliance. I'm joined with my trusty sidekick, Kimberly Bohannon, who's recently blown past 4A and on her way to 5A. So greetings to everyone. Thank you, Kim, for joining us and setting us all up. Of course, we're going to be hearing more from Kim in the future on some of our webinars going forward, because she's added an interesting dimension to the Enagic business moving forward. Now, if you weren't with us last week, I will encourage everyone to go back and watch the How to Go from 0 to 4A webinar, which we did last week. This was an extremely popular webinar. It's also something that is a critical component for you growing your business. It's the do's and don'ts of how to get to that critical stage. And as we assessed, that 85% of the distributors that make it to 4A end up going 6A. So your job is to get you and your close team members to 4A as quickly as possible. And that's going to allow you to hit the ranks that you desire, and of course to impact more and more people. So tonight, we're going to take it to the next progressive stage in the Enagic business. And that is how to go from 4A to 6A in 3 to 9 months. And basically, the 3 to 9 months is determined by how much effort that you want to put into this. So you can scale this up or you can scale it down. So for example, if you take the case of a fellow like Romy Verdera, who went at this very aggressively, he was 6A in 90 days. If you go to people such as my sponsor originally, he went 6A in 72 days. One of my other uplines, he went 6A in just over 100 days. Then we have a guy recently who will be bringing on the podcast. I was hanging out with him in Japan, who went 6A 2-3 in like 9 months. So there's a lot of different ways to do it, but the most important thing is how you're going to do it, because you're in the driver's seat with Enagic. You get to determine how fast you grow, how much effort you put in, and ultimately how much income you're going to make and how many lives that you're going to want to touch. One of the things I always remind people of is the amount of income you make in Enagic is directly proportionate to the amount of families you have impacted. So those dollars are freedom units for you, but they're also a reminder of the magic of Enagic and how we transform lives around the world. So without any further ado, we got a lot of people on the call tonight. I want to get right into this. Tonight's webinar is how to go from 4A to 6A in 3 to 9 months. Now, some of the things you're going to see on here are repetition, which are related to 4A, and then there's some of them that are similar, but there's a slight tweak to it. And there's some of them which are totally different and key to understand in this key component from go to 4A to 6A. So first of all, you got to understand the strategy. You got to look at, as my good friend Siha Top would say, you got to look at your Christmas tree. The long-term goal of the distributor should be, I believe, to hit what I call -3 and above. And the reason why you want to go to that level is because that is the kind of level where you're getting ongoing residual income all the time. And let me tell you, I've been there for a while, and so has Siha and a lot of my friends. Of course, I was hanging out with a bunch of 2-3s. Believe me, it's worth the effort to get to 6A 2-3. Let's say it took you 10 years. Is it worth 10 years of effort to get to an income that less than 1% of the world gets to enjoy? Now imagine what your lifestyle is. And here's the best part. You get to get this income, and you get to buy your time back, and you get to do it by helping people with a product that helps people become healthier. It is good for the environment. It creates tax incentives and business opportunities that allows you to participate in the global marketplace. And today, this is an amazing opportunity. And the beauty of it is Enagic has done all of the hard work. They've created the sales and service points and the distribution points all around the globe that allows you to play on a global scale without having to set up the factories, do the merchant accounts, do the distribution agreements, stock product, repair machines, service machines, or cut checks. It's all done by Enagic, and our job is just to go out and tell as many people about it and to help them do the same thing. It's really that simple. But in understanding the strategy, this is something that we didn't have available to us when we started. We made some critical mistakes. Just to give you an idea, I would be a 2-5 had I known how to set this up, and that's why we talk about it. Now, if you don't know what strategy to follow, I would refer you to the Prosperity and Health Alliance important videos page, and there is a video where I go into the compensation program and that I lay out the strategy in there. If you have any questions about it, of course, reach out to us after the webinar tonight, or you can just reach out to us, for me, Lighheart@gmail.com, and I'm available to help anybody on the Prosperity and Health Alliance team. My pleasure to do so. I love when people are motivated to go 2-3. But there's a couple basic strategies. I'm going to just go on this briefly. But I personally believe that if you're serious about doing the business, you want to own the top 3 positions in this tree, 1, 2, and 3. Number 1, you want to start with an ANASPA or a water machine. Second position, you want to have an UCON. That's a recurring order thing. And the third position, I would recommend an ANASPA or something, or another water machine. You can do it. There's a lot of different ways out there that people want to do it. But the bottom line is you want to be working, if you're serious about the business, work these 3 businesses. We call it the Entrepreneur's Kit or the Home Health Kit. And that'll allow you, some people call it the trifecta. It doesn't matter what you want to call it. But these 3 positions, number 1, they allow you to maximize income in the short term. They also allow you to maximize income over the long time. And strategically, it makes a big difference and will probably cut the time it takes for you to go 2-3 in about half. So it took me 9 years. You could reasonably do it within 5 years, just following our system and doing that on a part-time, or what we call a full-time, part-time basis. And you can help a lot of people make a lot of money. Beyond that, you got to see that there's a level of 4 distributors and a level of 8 distributors. And what I'm going to share with you today is the strategy that will allow you to understand and manage expectations of growing forward. Not everybody you sponsor will decide to do the business. Not everybody who says they're going to do the business are going to do the business. And not everybody who's going to do the business is going to go to 6A, 6A2, and 6A23. Okay, that's just the reality of this industry. It's the reality of the world. And you have to manage those expectations and not turn them into projections when you are kind of hoping that Billy Bob from Nantucket, that has never done anything productive in his whole life, but decided he's going to buy a machine because he thinks it's going to be the gravy train to get this business, you are setting yourself up for failure. So I want to give you that as a caveat. One of the big mistakes that distributors make is they start over-believing and over-promising in where a prospect is or where a new distributor is, as opposed to properly assessing them and allowing them to grow a long way. There's a lot of people that start out small and end up big, and a lot of people that start out big who end up small, if you know what I'm talking. And for those of you who've been around the business for a while, you know what I'm talking about. So let's talk about a few of the most important things to get started. And the difference between people who are that really accelerate from the 4A to 6A level is there's a couple things. Number 1, I'm going to recommend that you invest in business coaching. And that's outside of Enagic. And I'm going to explain why that is. What I have noticed and observed over the 9.5 years in my business, and keep in mind, I've interviewed probably 70%. I've talked to all of the 6A2-3s in North America, and probably another 50%. So I'll give it a total of 70% of the 2-3s and above. And so these suggestions are coming from the collective wisdom of all of these people. This is not just something I'm coming up with an idea. So number 1, you want to get business coaching outside of Enagic. And this includes how to set up accounts, businesses, systems, accounting operations, marketing goal setting, all that sort of stuff. You need to be able to have an outside authority that you trust, that is impartial to you in your business and can give you sound advice on how to run a business. This is a business when you go from 4A to 6A. It's a hobby up to 4A, reality is, but you're going to hit a whole new set of dynamics, a whole new set of opportunities, and a whole new set of challenges, time management, tax management systems, accounting systems, separating the difference between between sales, marketing, and goal setting. They're very different. They work together, and then having a business coach that can get a system that helps you work, I think I've noticed that people accelerate faster when they do that. Number 2, get sales training. Look, the biggest failure of people in this industry is that they don't understand that salesmanship is a skill you can learn. Salesmanship ultimately determines your income. Make no mistake about it, whether you're selling your ideas, whether you're selling the business, whether you're selling yourself, whether you're selling to your distributors, to your clients about what is the possibility for them. This all relates to sales training, and there are many different types of sales training for different personalities. You don't think that you have to be the guy standing at the front of the room or the girl standing in the front of the room in the $10,000 outfit with the $10,000 gold watch and, you know, all the flash and pizzazz. Yes, there are some people that like that, love that, and are that. But there's also, there's people in this industry. I'll give a good example is a guy like Fred Brown, who's very soft, very behind the scenes, and has built an unbelievably massive empire. Same thing goes for guys like Romy Verdera. Same thing goes for Dante and his team. So there's different styles of sales for different personalities. The key thing is you got to find what sales training is right for you and your personality to allow you to really, really tee in and accelerate that. And I think it's an ongoing process. I'm always learning sales training, always, always, always. Now, the third thing, you want to include marketing training. And now, what's the difference between marketing and sales? Well, number one, marketing is learning how to generate new leads in a consistent way or a consistent fashion or an eloquent fashion so that you don't have to worry about generating new leads. All of us are going to run out of our warm market at some point. So what you need to do is marketing is the process of acquiring new leads. Now, that could be just as involved as from a consistent networking outreach. It could be from a social media platform. It could be from groups that you're involved in. There's a lot of different ways you can do marketing training, okay? And you can do the newspapers. You can do all these different items. So picking a marketing format that allows you to grow your business and generate new leads so that you're not dependent on your new distributors or your old distributors to generate you leads. And this is there's a thing that happens to people in 4A. They can go into management mode, and that is dangerous because management mode in its early stages, it shows you making more money. But what it does is it cuts down on your lead generation and how many people you're marketing to, and this is a mistake and something you always have to watch for in the long run. Next thing, 4, network. You need to get involved in outreach events with quality leaders, business groups. You need to go to live training events, business luncheons, trade associations, BNI against social media, whatever it is. Make sure it's a format that you enjoy. So if you like being part of a BNI event, you like being for those breakfast clubs, great. Maybe you're a social media maverick and you love being on social media. You know, you're that type of person. Some people like to go to trade associations, the local the trade association in your town. And then other people like to go to live training events where you can meet other lifestyle entrepreneurs or other people that you might connect with, what I call the winners group, people that go to these events. They're people that they're looking for business. They're looking to reach out. They're looking to connect with people. And I think it's a great place to be there. And there's an automatic filter by someone who takes the time to do that. 5, always be looking. And, you know, one of the things that I get memorized down is you got to have your 15-second elevator pitch or your 30-second elevator pitch. And one of the things I like to use is, hey, man, I'm working with a group of socially conscious entrepreneurs with an environmentally friendly water technology from Japan with points of sales, service, and distribution all around the globe. We are looking for individuals who are looking to make an additional 6 figures to their annual income in the next 12 to 24 months simply by sharing leads with me. Do you know anyone who cares about their health and drinks water? That's it. That's your talking point, and please feel free to change that to whatever suits your personality and your style. And everywhere you go, you want to say, people say, hey, what are you into? And say, hey, this is what I'm doing. I work with a group of socially conscious entrepreneurs, blah, 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 bang. And then you finish up with a question of, do you know anyone who cares about their health and drinks water? Do you know anyone who's looking for a six-figure income? Do you know anyone who's looking to get involved in a really environmentally strong project? Do you know someone who's interested in making a lot of money? Do you know someone who's interested in making a difference in families' lives? Do you know, there's all these different ways that you can do it. And if you've done your due diligence, when you talk to the person and you ask questions first, when it comes back to your turn to come back to this line, you're going to alter it so that it hits the hot points that they're talking about. So if they're environmentally friendly, you go, oh my God, that's amazing, because I work with a group of socially conscious entrepreneurs that are into it, that promote an environmentally friendly water technology from Japan. You see, if they say, hey, you know what, I'm a professional networker, my company just blew up, I'm looking for another project, say, great. In fact, we're working with a socially conscious group of entrepreneurs in the networking industry, and we have an environmentally friendly water technology from Japan with point sales service of distribution around the globe. Compensation's amazing. I've got a few key individuals we're looking to find to add another 6 figures annual income. Is that something you're interested in, right? Boom. That's how you alter it based on the data that you've gathered. Now, finally, this is another key thing. Don't put all your eggs in any distributor. Pick twice as many people at each level, and you'll not put undue pressure on yourself or on your distributors. Hitting ranks is not about pushing people to do your bidding. It's about inspiring people to reach their dreams. I can't emphasize this enough. There's so many people that are looking to get a free ride by the next great distributor. The key is to become a great distributor yourself and pull people into the wake of your vision. When you do that, you start to realize that you're going to invest in other people's dreams, and you're going to find out what their dream is, and then you're going to help them get it through the Enagic business. And when you switch that focus, then they see you as an empathetic leader. They see you as an inspiration because of what you're doing in the business or what you're doing. Even if you're just starting, you say, hey, you know what? I was tired of working for, XYZ company. I was tired of not making a difference. In fact, I was just plain tired. And you know what? A group of these socially conscious entrepreneurs introduced me to this water. I started drinking it. It changed my life. I got a machine. I started sharing with a few people. I started seeing other people's lives change. It was amazing. And this was a great group of people. And I decided, you know what? It's time that I made a difference. It's time that I made a legacy. It's time that I reached out and helped people. The company's message is amazing. The president is like 76 years old. He's on top of his game. He's just doing this for, greater reasons than making a profit. And the group of people that are involved with and some of the professionals that have lent their credibility to this project is truly amazing. And it's something I'm going out there and looking for people who are looking to be part of something big and something that makes a difference. Now see, now you're being inspiring. So then you find out what's their dreams. The worst thing that you can do is leaning on distributors too strongly because you want to hit your rank, your goal, your whatever, and they feel that. And I think a lot of people, when they go to 4A, they get away from the basics and they go to that management mode and try to convert people to their version of the Kool-Aid. There's room for everybody. So what are the responsibilities of the leader? So you're at that stage of 4A. What is it that you want to do? You got to figure out which distributors want to go to the next level, right? Who really want to do this. And how you know that is that they're committed, that they're going to put 10 to 40 hours a week in this business. If they're not going to put that much time into the business, they're not the people that are going to take you to 6A. They're welcome at the meetings. They're welcome to show up. They're welcome to do that, but you've got to understand that. So how do you test their level of commitment? Well, you set goals and make a plan and see if they follow it, and you review it every couple weeks or every week at the start. Okay? You got to set expectations and standards. That's the third thing. And this is related to their goals. So they say, okay, Mary, you know, the 4-point close. If I were to teach you a way that you can make $500 extra a month working 10 hours a week and doing this over the next 6 to 12 months, you know, can you commit to doing X, Y, Z? Meeting with me once a week, sending out 25 texts, going to one-on-one presentations and group presentations with me so that I can teach you this business. Are you committed to that? And they say, yes. Well, now you've set expectations and you've set standards, and now you can coach them. If they go, well, not really, you're like, okay, would you like me to just go out and work your leads? And that's it. Because sometimes what will happen is you'll have to drill down 2 or 3 people to find the real superstar. But that first 3 to 6 weeks, that is going to be the peak level of motivation for your new distributor. So during that process, you want to make sure that you're going with them and getting those 25 texts out to those group each and every week and doing the follow-up with them. So if you imagine, okay, I got a new distributor for 6 weeks, we're going all in. I'm going to get to maybe 100 to 150 of their contacts, right? Think about that. That's amazing lead generation. Let's say you get to 100. Let's cut it to 100. Let's cut it to 50. That means you'll be able to get access to 50 new prospects a week. You probably set up at least 5 to 10 new presentations, and out of those, you're going to close 3 to 5 people. If you're doing that every single week, and you're doing that with 4 distributors, or 3 distributors, or 2 distributors, you can just work out the numbers on how much you want to commit to. You can see that you have a lot of leads to work from, and that makes a lot of sense. If you don't set those expectations, and you don't set those standards, and you don't work with that person, they're going to peter out in 6 weeks, 3 to 6 weeks. That's 80% of people are gone in 3 to 6 weeks. And a lot of that has to do with how good you are at setting the expectations and standards for how you're going to operate your business. Okay? And that's related to their goals. Now, you've got to commit. You know, everybody is interested in making money. Few are committed. So you got to commit to assist them in meetings and invites and 3-ways and demonstrations, in organization and scheduling. Bottom line, go deep until they get it. And what do I mean by go deep? What I'm saying is invest the time, the energy, the money, whatever it takes to help them get to that foray. Because I'll tell you what you do for that customer, that client, in those first early weeks is going to determine what they do with their distributors moving forward. So yes, it's a lot of time. Yes, it's a lot of effort. Yes, it's a lot of investment that you're not sure if you're going to get the return. But when it pays off forever. It pays off because they're going to replicate and duplicate that in an organization. So imagine when you have that distributor. I'll give you an example. I had a lad who came into the business, and his first sponsor was Siha. And Siha asked me for 8 solid weeks where we could go up and down the I-5 where he could learn the business. And I committed to it, and it took a lot of time and took a lot of effort, and there was a lot of resources expended in order to do that. But you know what? He went on to be 2-3 and has one of the fastest growing organizations in all of Enagic. And you know what? I probably work with Siha a total of 4 days a year. 4 full days a year. That's it. That's all I put on. And I continue to get paid ongoing because of I put the time in early. Next thing, 5, help your distributors qualify, educate, and close leads. You know, again, you got to manage expectations. Not everybody is going to buy that sees this. Everybody's going to go for a qualification, education, and closing products. And a lot of people, they get too high, or they start waiting for some person who's trying to get their financing together, or waiting to get their money from an inheritance, or their taxes paid off, or whatever, and they get stalled, and they're waiting for this person in their business to get going, as opposed to just going out there and finding the hot potatoes and dripping on the cold ones. Okay? So understand that as a leader, that the tendency for most people at that level, they're going to kind of get drilled down and too focused on the 1 or 2 good leads, And they might be good, they might not be great leads. And you got to really help them keep the momentum going because different people get into rates. Remember, this is a high touch. You need a high touch and multi-touch product. You are going to need to see this person anywhere from, on average, 3 to 12 times to get that sale. And so the faster you compress those touches in and handle their questions and stay on it, get them water, get their questions answered, be of great service, the faster you're going to grow your business. Number 6, you need to edify and empower them with their team, especially when they're starting out. Never criticize your team members in public. And if you do have some suggestions or some advice for them or some perspective for them, put it in what we call a positive sandwich. In other words, you reach out to them and you say, hey, you know what, Mary, first and foremost, I love your enthusiasm with how you're doing in the business and how aggressively you're going out and getting these people on board. It's just truly awesome. I just wanted to share with you that a couple of things you're doing is in violation of the Enagic policies of how you contact people. And here's the example of that. So, and you can use that, hey, you know, I did the same thing back when I was yours. And we've just got to bridle that enthusiasm and keep it in compliance. And finally, you follow up with the positives. But other than that, man, you're just on fire, and I can't. I'm so excited to work with you and to, you know, go out and finish closing and getting these new people on our team. Again, you want a positive, and that's just a little example. So you put the positives, whatever the negative is, you put it in the middle of a positive sandwich, and you do this privately, never in a public situation. When you are in public, you want to, number one, if you're doing demonstrations for them, if you're doing a presentation, whether it's a one-on-one, whether it's a group presentation, always edify and empower them. So, you know, here I am again with Mary. Man, she is so enthusiastic. I know she's going places in the business. We've got to know each other over the last little while. She's got all the earmarks of a superstar leader. She's organized. She's positive. She's out there doing sales. Man, you are in such good shape to be working with Mary. And that's why I'm here today. I'm here because Mary is such an amazing leader that she told me that you're a winner, and I wanted to find out because I know that winners hang out in circles, and Mary is a winner. Something like that. And use it in the language, but always want to edify and empower. And also, you want to be able to encourage the people that they can learn the skills or the business components of the business. Anybody can learn this business. Anybody can learn the skills. Anybody can learn the tools and the techniques of this company. But not everybody has been empowered in their lives. A lot of people have never been positively encouraged in their lives. A lot of people think that they're dumb or they're stupid or they're not skilled or they have sales things or they've been beaten down by who they don't know. And if you're that person that is going to edify and empower them each and every week and every time that you get a touch point, here's the thing. They're going to stick around Enagic because they feel good and they're going to develop their skills that are inside them and they are going to grow your business and be a positive force for you and your team over the long term. I have seen this over and over and over again, and I can tell you, you want to edify and empower your team and create a positive vibe. It's super, super. It just creates a vibe that is so positive and upbeat, and you're going to start to find that people start edifying and empowering you without even asking them. And so your reputation will precede you without even trying, just because you're a person that is encouraging and empowering your team members. And finally, you got to duplicate. You got to recognize that everything that you do, positive and negative, is going to be duplicated. The other thing is, if you're doing something that isn't duplicatable, you are going to have people that are going to check out of the business because they're going to say, I can't do that. So remember, every time that you go forward, you want to start anything or whatever, you go, okay, I can do this, but can my team do this? Can I teach this to my team? Will my people be able to get this? And a lot of people, what they go out and do is they go out and try and reinvent the wheel before they get anywhere. And here's what I'm going to encourage you. Be coachable. Go 6A or 6A2 and then figure out how you want to do it. Learn the system that we have. Learn the format that we have. Make some money. Get some experience. Get some distributors and some customers, and then start looking at figuring out your way. You know, the biggest waste of time is trying to figure out a new way to do it. It really is. Because I see so many people get started in the new way and they don't even know the way that does work. And you don't know if that new way is going to work. You might think it will, but the bottom line is if you go through the 0 to 4A strategy and then you move to this one, 4A to 6A, once you get 6A, do whatever you want. But it's going to be a lot easier if you follow what has been working over the years. So next thing, I'm going to talk about the distributor. So what are you going to, what are some important components of what you're going to ask your distributors to do? And one of the things that you want to talk about is you want to be truthful with interest and time commitments. Look, if you say that you can commit to 10 hours a week, commit to 10 hours a week. If you say that you can commit to 20 hours or 30 hours or 40 hours, commit to it. And you want to be able to, and it's kind of going to sound negative, but you want to be able to hold the person accountable. So one of the things that you can do, and Eric Worre talks about this in his training, one of the teachers that he had, he would sit down to him and said, okay, there are going to be times when you're challenged, there are going to be times when you're frustrated, or there's going to be times when you're not going to be as motivated. How do you want me to handle that? And find out how they want you to be accountable to them or hold them accountable so that you're communicating in a way that they feel good about, that they've committed to. That way you're not hammering them with your way, you're communicating with them in a way that they understand and they appreciate and that motivates them as opposed to demotivates them. We're here to be in a business where we don't have a boss. We don't need another boss, if you know what I'm saying. 2, another thing, and this is one of the things that I always set the tone for with my distributors, is if you want to grow your business, you want to get rolling, I put action to the people who are reaching out to me. So I encourage people to initiate calls, emails, and questions with me and my team, or with, in your case, with you and your team. The reason being is because years ago, my upline told me, I said, how do you know who's a leader? And he says, the leaders are always calling you. The leaders are always trying to get your attention. The leaders are always trying to get your help. That means they're motivated and they want to do things. Number 3, look, you got to obtain all the presentation murals, the bottles, and the demonstration supplies. If you don't do this, in my opinion, and you're relying on the 4A person or the leader, the 6A or whatever, you're doing them a disservice. You got to realize they have a lot of people and a lot of time, efforts, a lot of demands on their time. And when someone says, look, hey, we got a presentation on Tuesday night, 7 o'clock, just show up, be ready, bring your PowerPoint. If they have the PowerPoint, say, I'll get your PowerPoint ready, be ready to go. You want to make it super simple and easy. Why? Because that allows your leader to just come in, do their business, and then you can move forward. The other thing is you're going to teach your team to do it. And believe me, when you get busy with this business with, 4 or 5 direct line distributors or, a team of 50, 30, or 100 people, you're going to appreciate this on a really deep level. The other thing is, again, it's a duplicatable action. You're going to be able to make it easy for your team by demanding this in the early stages. This is part of the commitment process. Number 2, 4, learn and practice and present the demonstration over and over and over and over and over again. Learn how to do a 2-minute presentation, a 5-minute, a 10-minute, a 30-minute, an hour, and a 2-hour. I'm serious. You want to be able to do this down so quickly that you can do it without a PowerPoint, without demonstration slides, without a book. You can just go down there and share this message. When you get to that level of presentation in this business, believe me, you can write your ticket for income. And it's just the more demonstrations you do, the better it gets and the easier it gets. And you can alter it any way you want. You can keep it simple, fast, the down and dirty demo, as I call it. That's a great one. 5, here's the reality. When people are starting out in this business, especially when you're going off, you want to spend 80 to 20 split. Spend 80% of your time doing and 20% of your time learning. You got to avoid analysis paralysis. Now, if you looked early on, what I identified for the 4A position last week, I talked about a 50-50 between learning and or doing income-producing activities. If you're working directly with somebody who's helping you, or you're going to work, or you've hit that 4A level, you want to spend 80% of your time working. Okay? You don't need to learn everything about the machine. You don't need to learn all the science. You need to be out there talking to people and doing presentations and following up on leads. That's what should be 80% of your time. Anything other than that, you're wasting valuable dollars and you're holding yourself back in ways you can't possibly imagine. Present, 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 present. If you're not presenting for your leads, you want to be presenting for your leads, for your team. If your team doesn't have leads, you need to be generating leads so that you're presenting to them, because those team members are not going to take you to the 2-2s and the 2-3s and all those ranks. They're not ready yet. So next thing, be on time, and being on time is early, and never, ever, ever skip a meeting. Be on all the calls, be in all the things, be in all your presentations, do all that sort of stuff, get it all going on. That's important. And be early, be respectful of people's time. You might be a person who likes to show up late or is not so connected with time, but you don't realize that a lot of, you might really put off some people where being on time is important. Nobody is upset by someone who's on time or early, but there's a lot of people who are upset by people who are not on time and who are late. And when you're setting standards and expectations, you want to make sure that, and you want to set it with your team, but you got to lead by example. And 7, you want to make sure that you commit to being self-sufficient by 4A. So by 4A, you should have all the components by, but you also want to be able to share that with your team members, that they need to commit to be self-sufficient by 4A. And so that's what you're going to ask your distributor. You're going to say, hey, look, I'm going to really work hard on you till you get to 4A. We're going to get you to self-sufficiency. I'm willing to bend over backwards to help you get to that point. But at that point, I'm going to serve as a strategic advisor to you. You're going to run with this. Is that okay? Get the commitment. Okay? Next, what's the game plan? Number 1, you need to hold a group meeting with your leader and send out 25 texts each week and book a minimum of 7 presentations. We talked about this last week. This is the key. If you are presenting, if you're doing a demo a day, you're winning. And I'm talking about really hitting, everybody goes, well, I don't want to do 7 presentations. Okay, well, don't plan on going 6A in your first year. It's just that simple. And that might sound harsh, but I want to manage expectations. Not everybody's supposed to go to 6A. Not everybody is going to make that money, and not everybody should make that money. It's not for everybody. So you want to make sure that if the people are committed to going 4A, you're like, okay, on Monday night, we're doing a texting presentation. We're going to get together. We're going to do 25 texts. You can get together on Skype. You don't even have to go if they're not local, and you can go through this. Or you can do it on Sunday or whatever day you pick. Let's send out those 25 texts. Let's count it. Let's celebrate. Let's acknowledge. Let's look at the challenges of the week. Let's look at where you could do better. Let's ask those questions. Be a leader with your group and motivate them. And now here's the beauty of this is, if you get 2 people or 3 people or 4 people, you can set a set meeting where you work together or in an online space, Skype or Zoom or any one of these webinar platforms or these connection platforms, and you get down and you do the work and you send out those leads. And if you do that, you're going to find that your business is going to grow exponentially. And guess what? Again, your teammates are going to duplicate this. 2, track your results and hold each other accountable. Track how many texts you go up, track how many meetings you book, and track how many people you close and where they are in the closing process. Just by focusing on the numbers and keeping that accountability, your business will grow faster and you'll get direct feedback. The numbers don't lie. And a lot of people create a lot of what I call false observations. In other words, they're making an observation because it's convenient to allow them to be not successful. You understand what I'm saying there? They're saying, oh, nobody wants to pay $5,000. Really? How many people did you contact? They saw the demo. They don't have any, I contacted those people, but they didn't come up to the demo. Well, how many people did you contact? How often did you contact them? Did you hit them 5-6 times? Okay. Remember, this tracking and holding people accountable. We have the sheets on there that you can use. You can figure out your own tracking system. It's up to you. You got to take that time and you want to set your one-on-ones, your two-on-ones, and your 3-way meetings with prospects. What that means is I use a reference thing called meetme.so/bookway. This is where I set it. You can set up your Apple Calendar on your phone or your Google Calendar or whatever calendar thing is, and you set aside the times where you're available and that your team knows that you're available so that they can automatically book that without reconnecting with you and say, hey, by the way, I got Thursday night. We know that Thursday night's your night or Thursday. And guess what? you go out with that prospect or you meet that person online. 4, I highly recommend, if you're serious about this business, host demonstrations a minimum of twice a week. That can be you hosting the presentation and a physical demonstration. You might hold an online presentation for the people that you're chasing. Now that's becoming very popular. Or you might have a distributor in your group that is holding a demonstration for you in a local area or a non-local area. Whatever that happens to be, you need to be doing 2 group meetings a week, okay? And average at least 1 presentation a day. If you average 1 presentation a day, I guarantee you, you'll go 6A very, very quickly, okay? 90 days of all-out massive action. If you don't know what that is, check out Eric Worre's all-out massive action video. I think it's great, and it'll give you an idea of what it really takes to set yourself up financially for the rest of your life. And I talked to Romy about this, and he said that he's studied network marketing for over 30 years, and he told me that 90% of people who are multi-million-dollar earners attribute their success to a 90-day all-out massive action, usually when they started the business. But you can do this anytime, and Eric does a great job of sharing how it works for him, how to set yourself up for it, and really commit to it. And believe me, if you do that, you're gonna make a lot of money, and you're gonna change a lot of lives. The other thing is, you guys are already doing this. Make sure you attend the Prosperity and Health Alliance meetings on Monday night. These are great webinars to follow up, and also allows you to ask questions after. And the one thing I would say is a lot of people don't ask questions after. And you need to get those burning questions answered. That's what we're here for. We're here to reach out and help you. So feel free to type them in at the end of the webinar, which we'll get to soon, and Kim will help moderate these for us. 6, game plan. You need to follow up, follow up, follow up. The fortune is in the follow-up. Remember that it's approximately 6. It's on after 5 no's, it's the 6th ask where people actually purchase the machine, make the sale. So you've got to, and that's done by follow-up, by gently dripping on, and doing so in a consistent, effective manner that you're not wasting all your time. Finally, 7, figure out who your leaders are and commit to growing them to 4A. You need to identify them, you need to plan with them, and you need to take action with them. Remember, action trumps strategy. Action trumps strategy. You can figure out all the things that you want on paper and draw all the charts and all the angles and get all the references and work out the compensation program in all different ways and figure out how to, maximize your income and create all these new and little strategies, and everybody's got a new way to do it. And all, you can do all that sort of stuff, but there's nothing that trumps action. If you go out there and you book yourself in a presentation a day on average for the next 90 days, believe me, you are going to see a noticeable difference in your bank account. You're going to see a noticeable difference in your life. Okay? Action. Now, here's something I don't think we focus enough on in Enagic or inside of the trainings, and I would like to encourage this because these are some things that I've used and a lot of the leaders use that you may not be aware of, and that is visualization. Of course, everyone talks about and knows about Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. I got Think and Grow Rick. I don't know why that is, but we'll have to correct that later. But Think and Grow Rich is an amazing book, and it talks about it. There's also another course, if you get into Napoleon Hill, he has another one about the 18 Laws of Success, I believe, which is a little deeper dive into that. It's taken off the market at one time and then brought back in. Very, very powerful. Also, if you go to Earl Nightingale, the head of Nightingale Conant Corporation, there's an old audio called The Strangest Secret, and that is, it's amazing. It's still applicable today. You can probably find it online for free. And that is, people get or become what they think about most often. And so what you're thinking about is really great. I'm going to share with you a couple of things that I've used that I think has been very powerful for me. One is a Marissa Peer. She has an unlimited wealth program, and I think it's a really, really great subconscious programming system. I like to listen to it at night before I go to sleep. It helps you generate the work ethic, the drive, the attraction process to people that are going to move your business forward and allow you to do things. I think it's been phenomenal for me. I've noticed a massive increase in my own income by adding that into my life. Earlier on in life, I also did another program by a fellow by the name of Lee Poulos, and interesting enough, that's what got me into Marissa Peer, because I was actually, Lee helped me achieve my bodybuilding success way back in the day. I was an unsuccessful bodybuilder for about 10 years. And I was looking for a way to kind of accelerate my subconscious mind. And I discovered this guy, Lee Poulos, who did these kind of subliminal programs and hypnotism and stuff. And so I started using it for bodybuilding. And afterwards, I started winning all my contests, became very, very successful. And I attributed it directly to the programming. And I was realizing I wanted to go to the next level in my businesses. And I came across Marissa Peer. I started decoding how I did it in bodybuilding. And I realized I hadn't added that other component of subconscious programming. So I got Marissa Peer's course, and I think I got her whole course through a company. My girlfriend and I got it through a company called Mind Valley, which does a lot of really positive programs, built by Vision Laxmi. And this course allowed me to kind of reprogram my brain and go to the next level. Of course, you can go into Tony Robbins. He's got that the Power program, the 30 days to transform your life. That's probably contributed to the success of like literally hundreds of thousands of people. It's an amazing course. It's a good one. If you're looking for more direct coaching, guys like Bob Proctor, really amazing coaching programs. He also really looks at the paradigms that we create inside our head and how to visualize. And of course, there's Abraham Hicks is another great course about teaching about how to get vibrationally aligned. Now, some of that's going to sound a little woo-woo to a lot of people, but the reality is if you look at visualization and you look at your dreams, almost every single high-performance athlete in the world, almost every single high-performance business person in the world use visualization and success programming inside their lives to achieve their goals. So doesn't it make sense for you to do the same thing? I mean, I certainly think so. And we're living in an increasingly complex world, and the bottom line is it's not the things that you know that is going to influence your business. It's the things that you don't know. It's the things that are outside your range of investigation. It's the unprobability drive that gets activated. And when you set forth the visualization, you create an energetic field that attracts people, places, and things that support that visualization. This is part of the quantum universe. This is, if you go down, there's a book called Down the Rabbit Hole, I believe, What the Bleep Do We Know? And it's a great video. You can get it online. You can watch it. And it talks about how physicists have actually proven this quantum reality. And if you go into physics, it's called the collapse of the wave function. So this isn't woo. It used to be considered woo, but now metaphysics and physics are kind of meeting together into an applicable, practical science that it can allow you to achieve your goals. So do not underestimate the power of visualization. In fact, I've incorporated this with all my companies with massive success, and I've incorporated it in my own life with massive success. So these are some of the experts. You might find someone else that on your list that would fit, but most importantly, you need to dive into it. So some resources, of course, I always like to show some of the things that I have. ProsperityandHealthAlliance.com. By the way, we have all the videos and all the trainings on site here. We've got every single component from scripts, how to get your machine, where the parts are. Everything is all built into the autoresponder for your review and application. So we're going to do the heavy lifting for you. The training is in there. It's delivered to you and your clients at no charge, and you can just go from it and use it with your teams. And I welcome that. That's open to everybody in Enagic. I don't charge for this source. We don't charge for this source. We really want to help all of the boats rise in Enagic. There's more than enough prosperity for everybody. There should be a machine in everyone. There's literally millions and millions of people. And we want to hit that point of critical mass where we go from, cell phones that not many people had them 20 years ago. Now everybody has one. So next thing, GoPro by Eric Worre. If you don't have that book, if you haven't taken his courses, if you're not watching his videos, you are only going to be half the network marketer you could be, and that's being conservative, probably less. I think he's done a great job of narrowing down the essential skills and tools that you need to be a success. Amazing job, and I go to his event every year in Las Vegas, and I encourage you to do the same. We'll be going there this year. I think it's a phenomenal experience. Straight Line Persuasion by Jordan Belfort. This is a sales course that transformed my capacity to sell, and it's transformed the ability of a lot of people. Just so you know, Jordan Belfort is a recovering alcoholic or drug addict, I guess. That might sound aggressive, but he was the guy that did the Wolf on Wall Street. In other words, he was able to teach virtually untrained kids to sell millions and essentially billions of dollars of business to some of the highest income, most sophisticated people in America. And he did it by creating an amazing sales system. And, you know, Jordan has a kind of a crazy past, but he's kind of turned the whole thing around, and he's used this course as a way for him to give back, to teach people how to sell in a way that's ethical and honest and yet effective. And I think he's doing a great job to kind of repay his debt to society. And the bottom line is the course is nothing but gold, and I highly encourage you getting it. The other thing is Brendon Burchard, and Brendon is almost like a polar opposite of a Jordan Belfort type. He's an inspirational force, kind of the ilk of Tony Robbins, an amazing guy. He runs a course called Experts Academy online. He's got a High Performance Academy that also goes with it. Also, World's Greatest Speaker Training. He has a variety of courses which he can teach you on how to become an expert in the field. And how do you promote yourself? How do you acquire? How do you present yourself? What are the strategies, the techniques you do to achieve this in an online world? And I think we're going increasingly online. Amazing guy, Brendon, and just a phenomenal force of nature, and a great vibe to go hang out there at his Experts Academy. I go every couple of years to one of his courses, and I really get a lot out of it. And a lot of it's a good reminder, and a lot of it's some very innovative stuff. And finally, Personal Power by Tony Robbins. Tony has been the kind of go-to strategist coach for literally the who's who for the last, I think, 30 years. He's a force of nature. He also teaches you the techniques and the communication skills to help you accelerate your life. His Personal Power program, I think, is great. His Unleash the Power Within is can be a transformative way, as with many of his other courses, such as Date with Destiny and things like that. So Tony is a force for good, and really good for those of us in the network marketing space. So the question is now, which part of this do you need to work on? Do you need to work on identifying? So when you look at this, I go, well, wait, there's not much strategy here. There's not much information about going to 4A. You have to realize it boils down to this. Your ability to go from 4A to 6A is directly proportionate to how many people you can connect with and inspire and assist to go to 4A. That's it. And if you can teach people to go to 4A to 4A to 4A to 4A, some of those people are going to grow a business. Not all of them, some of them. So you go back to basics, and I'm going to go click up here just to the end again, or up where the start is. Look at this tree. Let's say you take those first three positions any which way you want to color, whether they're in straight line legs, one open on a 4A, whatever. Now you look at that next level. You've got to go out there and you need to find at least 2 people for each one of those. So if you look at 6A2, get at least 2 there and 2 at the other level and 2 on the other side too. So you need to go out and find 8 people to start to go to 4A. And don't let up until you have 8 people. And underneath those, you need to find 8 people on their side. And you go, well, wait, it only shows that you need 2 and 2. Yeah, I'm trying to build insurance into the model for you, okay? And if you do that, you're going to grow your business really, really fast and really, really effectively, and you're going to make a big, big difference. If you start holding back and saying, oh, I got one person, and I'm hoping that they're going to go 4A, and I'm waiting for them to bring people to my demonstration, which are on Tuesday night, and they haven't brought anybody for the last 2 weeks. I don't understand. How, here they've just shown you that they're not 4A material. You need to go out and get some more. They're a customer who is yet to become a distributor. So you need to go back and either work their clients. If they're not comfortable with that, you need to move on and get other people and just drip on them and let them know where the meeting's in, let them go. Like, don't let other people slow you down. Don't let other people's lack of vision or vision steal your dreams. Don't let expectations of others blind you to the reality of where people are at. And if you don't do those three, if you address that to your business in a realistic and optimistic fashion, you understand that? A realistic yet optimistic fashion, you will be on your way to building a massively successful distributorship, and you take all the pressure off, you take all the drama off, you take all of that, because everybody is qualifying to the next level inside your business as opposed to you forcing them trying to be there. And once you make that difference, then you're going to find that people are going to come in and going to come out of this business. Sometimes they'll go otherwise. They'll come back. If you are that force of edification and empowerment and inspiring nature, people are going to come back over and over and over again, and they will grow your business, and they will become loyal to your business, and they'll be an absolute delight to work with. If you try and pressure people and put them into a vice that they haven't agreed to, you're working with the wrong people. Not only are you trying to raise the dead, but you're setting yourself up for pain and disappointment because that person isn't there. Look, you just assigned a set of expectations that really they didn't deserve yet. You know, you always, I like to use the Ronald Reagan thing. You want to trust but verify. You want to trust that they're going to go ahead and do it. You're going to set the goals. You're going to set the game plan. You're going to work with them, but you want to verify that they're committed to the goals as much as you are. And if they're not, you need to move on and allot your time in a way that is going to allow you to find and grow your business. Believe me, when you find those leaders that are movers and shakers, it's a joy. And sometimes they will not come up, and almost all the time they will not be that first range of your distributorship. They'll be down 1, 2, 3 levels. And that's why in that first 6 weeks that you're working with a distributor, you want to drill down as deep as you can into their contacts list and their contacts list to find that all-star to grow them up, because that's going to push everybody up in the distributorship. So with that, I want to turn it over to you guys and encourage you to say, hey, what's the next part in your business? What do you need help with? You can talk about this particular webinar, or you can talk about the webinar or some other aspect of the business. So if we can turn to questions, that would be great. So here we go. Here's a great question. How does one host an online presentation? Kim, I'm going to invite you to kind of jump in here, because Kim is my girl that has helped me do, I don't even know how many webinar presentations. How would you answer this? Because there's a lot of different options that they have. Kim, are you with us there to answer the question?
I am. Read the question again, please.
It's, how does one host an online presentation? And this is coming from Claire.
Well, there's a couple ways that you can do it. You can actually go out and reach out on social media and put an event out and invite people to actually participate in a webinar and give them a link, inviting them to that presentation. Another way that you can do it is on your website. You can actually have a link that takes people to a presentation. I actually do that. That presentation can be through GoToWebinar or Webinar Jam, EverWebinar. There's lots of different ways that you can do that. But inviting people to a presentation online, that's a way that you can do that.
And another way you can do it too is I encourage everybody to get Skype. And you can do share screen on Skype, which you just share your screen with people on Skype and they jump in on that. So you want to go out and kind of inspect the ones that work for you, and they're usually scaling rates of how much it costs. There might be a trial period that you get to play with it. Mm-hmm. Go out and try a bunch of them, see which one fits your style, and start doing promotions online. I think it's a very quick and effective way and very responsive, because it allows people. And I would encourage you to get a use the like I use the meetme.so/bookwade scheduler.
That's a good one. And another one is Eventbrite.
Yes, Eventbrite is another awesome one, and I've used that one as well. So those are great ways to get commitments to people and then start hosting the various platforms to see which one works best for you.
You just got to explore them, and see what works, and invite people, and see how you can get people to participate in showing up at, whether it be a online event or, a personal event.
Great stuff. Next question is from Hareen. Hey, Wade, thank you for a great presentation. I just joined the Enagic team a couple weeks ago. Hey, welcome to the team. I have a question with regards to renting machines. Would you recommend that? Well, there's an interesting way that I do know of a group that was working this over in Asia, that they created a rental program with the machines. In other words, they went out and bought a couple of machines that they had as loaners, and they said, hey, look, here's what we're going to do. We're going to rent this out to you at however many bucks, like $50 a week or whatever they want. They created a positive cash flow situation, whatever their payments were, and they rented them out for for people, and then afterward they come back and say, hey, by the way, you're spending $150 a month. I can get you into one of these machines for $50 a month and all the benefits. Would you like to take a look at it? So that is an option for people. I've not personally done it. I've always set people up with machines, but I do know some people like to do that. So you can experiment with that and try it. Go right ahead. Next thing. Also another question. When you're approaching your warm market, how do you answer to someone who would text you, sounds like marketing? The bottom line is you can say, well, there's two ways to go at it. You can go at directly or indirectly and says, well, hi, Bob, absolutely, this is marketing. I'm working with a group of socially conscious entrepreneurs, and we're moving this directionally, and I'm reaching out to you. It's our marketing outreach because I thought this would be something of interest to you. And the other thing is you own it and take the posture. Number two is you can use what Eric Worre says. It says, oh, sounds like you have a bit of a story there. Did you have a bad experience around marketing? And then let them speak. That's two ways to address that. One of the great things that they talk about in straight line persuasion is expect the objection and move beyond. It's like that's the most important thing is expect that you're going to find some resistance so you're prepared for it. You would never train a football team to work and think that they're not going to have opposition towards them, scoring a touchdown. You'd never teach any sporting team that doesn't expect you're going to have opposition. You would never get into business if you do not think there's going to be opposition. So again, it comes down to setting up expectations. So sounds like marketing. Well, yes, it is actually. We're marketing this product. Do you have an issue with that? Or would you be willing to listen to this because I value your opinion? And I'd like to see how my marketing approach looks from you.
Another thing I do too, Wade, is that I ask people to, when people email me certain things, I ask them, hey, could you just give me a call? Because I'd like to personally talk with you about what your objections are, what it is you're trying to accomplish, whatever it is. I just kind of reach out to people and say, hey, give me a call so we can personally talk about this. That has opened up so many doors and closed so many sales for me because first of all, they know that they've got a person to talk to. It's not like just a machine that they've got that's running and marketing. So that's huge for me. I have closed so many sales by just saying to people, you know what? Could you just give me a call? We could talk about this.
Yeah,
Personally,
and I think that's a great answer. Just
it's
be the
that
person that's
personal
there to
thing.
help.
Yeah.
Yeah, be there to help. Next question. Moving along. So Wade, are you getting recorded your webinar? If so, I would like to listen to it over again. Do you have any possibility for people to listen over? Yes, all the webinars are loaded on our page. So if you go to the training library at prosperityandhealthalliance.com, you will get access to our YouTube channel where each and every one of these webinars have been recorded. I think we're over 40 or something like that now.
Oh, yeah.
So we record them. This one in particular will be out in the next couple of days. Takes us a second. Kim sets the title and she uploads it and does all the heavy lifting around this to get this up there. And then we turn it out onto the library and we make it also available on the autoresponder. So if you're on the autoresponder, you will get the links to it, or you can just jump into the library and get this or any other ones. So, okay, so that was just fantastic. Makes sense. Thanks for your feedback. Great info, Maria. Do you have an example of how to go at it between distributors in another country or province for helping share the water? I heard distributors sharing compensation, but I'm not clear, and I would like to have a clear answer, I guess that is. I can't see all the rest of that question. Oh, have your opinion. Yeah, hi, Maria. By the way, congratulations. I know you're rocking and rolling recently with some new sales. Here's the thing. There's no cut and dry methodology. So I can share with you, it's really how you deal on a person-to-person basis. And I'm assuming you're using distributors from another line inside this question. So for if I was to qualify the question. It's like, if I heard what you're saying is correct, is you're looking at a distributor who's getting on board with the project or who wants to get a sample of water, but you're using someone in a foreign location or another city to give them water. Just so you know, that works out about 20% of the time.
Yeah.
I've found that if you're using someone in another leg or another team, you want to make sure that you have a solid business arrangement with them. The other thing is, with your person in that foreign location, you want to make sure that you're going to commit to them if they decide that they're going to do the business. How are you going to support them as their upline leader in the future? Are you going to go out there? Are you going to meet them online? What is it that you're going to commit to prior to turning them on to other people before you go forward? And I have found most often you're better off closing them first. I don't think that sharing the water on a foreign thing is the most successful way to go. That's just experience telling me, but there's other people that do. Now, I have had other distributors that has worked with, and typically it's worked with other people who are at the above 6A2 level. So it's kind of a level when you hit the higher ranks where it's more likely that person is going to operate in a manner that is integrous and supportive of your goals. So if I'm having someone share water with me, it's going to be a 6A2 or above. And that means that they have skin in the game for maintaining and following the practices and procedures. The bottom line is, human nature being what it is, it's often very difficult for that person, the water distributor, or the new person to acclimatize to the people in the local environment and decide, you know what, I'm going to go with my local person. And so I think setting people up on the far side is a great way. The reality is, in my experience, working people in the from long distance tends to work really well if you're at 6A. If you're not at 6A, it's a challenge. Plain and simple. Work your local environment or an environment that you have contacts where you can commit to, or contacts that you can trust to get them water. So in other words, help people in their distribution network get a water machine to them, or get them on a trial or that sort of thing, and work with them under that person so that you have a connection. Going out there without those connections, you can waste a lot of time and a lot of effort and not get the results you wanted.
Do you think you have to have like a really strong posture? You know, it's like, for me, when I've done that, Wade, I've had to have like very, very strong posture with people in order to make sure that I've maintained that relationship, that I could close that deal. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I think for a new distributor, for the most part, that's frankly, it's outside their wheelhouse. I just think you're looking at an advanced, what I would say, posture generally is developed by two different types of people. Number one, people who are professional salespeople or business people that have got experience, and number two, people that have achieved the higher ranks in Enagic.
Gotcha.
What used to make me cave at 4A or 5A, I laugh at now.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so your posture builds up with experience, and that's true of and success. That's true of any sport or any business. So do we got any more questions? So good question, Miriam. That's a good question, because it's something that comes up often for people, and I think that's great. And I know you've worked business in a variety of places. I know you're pretty spread out all over North America, and it's just about questioning about where can I service my customers best and what am I committed to. Now, I know people that have done it early stages, but what they do is they go off to that location and they anchor that sale and they anchor that distributor. And they may work with other distributors in that local environment, but oftentimes it ends up in a way that's not where you want to go. That's just human. That's just human nature. So I guess we're at 10 minutes over the hour. I think we're out of questions. I want to thank everybody on the list today. You guys are amazing. I see we have a huge, huge group of people on here tonight. So with everybody, I want to say hi. I love you guys all. It's great to see you traveling around the world and living this dream. It's really impressive and it's really exciting, and I want you to do the same. So with that, I want to thank Kimberly Bohannon, my trusty sidekick here at the Prosperity and Health Alliance. And I want to thank you, the distributors of Enagic. I never take for granted each and every one of your contributions. So feel free to reach out if you need some assistance. I'm available at wadelightheart@gmail.com. If I don't answer right off the bat, email me again and email me again until you get my attention. I have a lot of requests and a lot of things, but I always meet them, provided the person steps up and takes time to connect. And I love doing it, and I love helping our team, and I love you guys so much. Thank you so much, and good night.